Yo, what's up everyone? Colby Cheese here once again with another Heroes of the Storm gameplay commentary. This time we're going to be doing Sergeant Hammer. And that's right, I'm a freaking siege tank, bros. We will be on the Cursed Hollow map. So, what I've said in the past, I believe anyways, is that this map kind of has some importance on that early game action and securing those actual curses, those tributes, I should say. You got to get those 3 tributes in order to curse your enemy team. The one thing about Sergeant Hammer, he's not really an early game hero, not so much at all. In fact, a lot of his power, in my opinion, does not really come until later on in the game, because early on, when you siege up, you have no mobility. As you can see, just like a siege tank that you would expect from StarCraft 2, I can go into siege mode here, and I can be pelting away on his turret right outside of turret range. The thing is, I cannot move. So this is actually pretty interesting that I'm playing against Tychus here. He keeps throwing those bombs that displace me, which is really weird. So he puts me out of range of the turret, and I have to keep going back in there and putting myself back into range. Now you'll notice what I've started to do, and let me kind of talk about my experience with Sergeant Hammer so far. I have been playing him for a little bit. I was like, man, I gotta figure this guy out, because the first time that I played him, I fed so hard, and I was pretty damn crap on him. After a little bit of playstyle testing, trying out the different talents and whatnot, I'm pretty sure that I have basically got together the best strategy, in my opinion, for him. I've been topping the stat charts for the team each time that I play Sergeant Hammer, and I'm winning most of the games that I play on him that aren't where people leave. So in any case, it's pretty simple. As you can see, I just kind of get up there into the range of the turrets just so that it cannot hit me, and I'll start sieging away. Now I was hoping that I could avoid going to the battle here. That was terrible. I was hoping I could avoid going to that battle, and I noticed that they were about to cap the point. I wanted to see if I can get in there and stop them from doing that. To my credit, it does seem to have worked. Our team was able to respawn and get back in there and actually take it. So my sacrifice was not in vain. Anyhow, I am mostly wanting to stay out of these early team fights where I don't have any mobility yet, and I'd like to just siege down the turret. A lot of times in the game, you generally don't have those sieges going down unless somebody caps some merc camps and or grabs the actual map's objective, and that's when most people will take the turrets. So a lot of people won't actually defend their turrets and their walls very religiously yet, from my experience anyway. So I can just kind of sit here in this little bush, and I'm also fairly safe. I can just throw down the spider mines if anyone comes up. They are going to get slowed by those spider mines, and I will be able to mostly escape unless I get just ultra ganked by a bunch of high DPS assassins or something like that, something in that nature. As you can see, I can just kind of hang out here, take out the minions. They won't actually come aggro and chase me down in the bush there, since I am far enough away from their pathing, and I can just continue to pelt stuff down. And I was looking for a fight there, just kind of rolling around, seeing if there was anything I could do. Oh goodness! Oh, this is not good! Oh! I got pulled in by Kerrigan, and she was ready to take me down. I wasn't ready to die though. So this is pretty much the early game. Just do your best to help out the team and push down that first early set of turrets that you can do. And I've already done that, as you can see. So we are already doing well. Obviously haven't got a fort yet or anything like that, but I'm just going to hang out in these bushes, try and play it safe as possible. So let's go ahead and talk about Sergeant Hammer's abilities. That way you can kind of get an idea of what I'm up to here. Oh goodness. Real quick, we got Tychus coming in from behind, trying to do some work, but he's not able to do much to me. So I've got siege mode, of course, which is going to turn my auto attack into a splash damage, and of course also gives me that massive amount of range. The way Sergeant Hammer progresses, as you start to level up, you get those talent points, and those talent points will actually allow you to get more damage to targets that are more than like 4.5 distance away from you, whatever that means. I don't actually know how far 4.5 distance is, but the main thing is I do a lot of damage to distant targets, which most of the time I'm shooting distant targets. Now you'll notice that little cone thing that I shoot out sometimes when things get close, and that's just a little pushback attack. You can actually modify that pushback attack quite a bit. You can make it push back further, do more damage, and you can have it like create a wall in front of you whenever you shoot it. I actually never modify that because as useful and whatnot it is whenever people are coming up and ganking on you and stuff like that, I really prefer the utility and the damage of the other things that you can grab. So there's a lot of talents that will increase your auto attack range, increase your damage at range, and that's pretty much what I go for so that I can continually siege up the enemies and defend as well. So I defend very well. Now, I would say 90% of the Sergeant Hammers that I've seen play, of course, you know, every hero gets like 2 heroic abilities, ultimates, whatever you want to call it, for the most part. And what I've seen pretty much every Sergeant Hammer do is they'll take there's this bullet that just shoots out and it's a global range and it does a decent amount of burst damage. But I don't take that. His other ability, in my opinion, is vastly superior, and it's called Artillery Strike. So it's like a 6-second cooldown, or even like 4 or 5 second cooldown. It's really low, as you can see right here. Boom, 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 boom. I just shoot it out. It's like a napalm strike right there. It does pretty decent amount of damage, and anything standing in the area will take a little bit of damage over time while that effect persists. So I'm actually, now that I'm right around level, I think once I hit level 12, that's when I got, in my opinion, where Sergeant Hammer starts to really begin to shine. You have your ultimate at that point, and I now have the ability to move around while I'm sieged. So I took this talent. You have a couple of options for your talents, but this is the absolute best in my opinion. You can move at, of course, a slower rate, but it allows you to just kind of siege up a little bit out of danger, move in, and kind of chase people down very slowly and kind of reposition while in team fights. And it's so very nice in order to continually siege stuff up, because if you have to keep unsiege moding, it takes like 5 seconds to go back into siege mode, so there's a lot of problems with that. Anyhow, still talking about abilities, you got siege mode there. I've told you about the little cone attack. It's a pushback. You mostly just use that for defense. If someone's running up to chase you, you push them back and then you run away. And you've got the spider mines. The spider mines are really nice as well. It's something that I used to just kind of throw in bushes and use as kind of like a random thing. But honestly, all they're really used for is just like if you played StarCraft. You got to put up those spider mines to defend your tanks, and that's what you do. Spider mines, you just start laying a perimeter of them, as many as possible, around you while you're sitting there sieging up the enemy fortifications, or even in team fights or whatever. Anyone that runs up to attack you, you got those spider mine foundations ready to slow them down to help you get away, as well as do a lot of extra damage. You can really wreck some people pretty hard with those things. And here we go. There's the spider mine slowing down the Kerrigan, and boom, I am out. Jetpacks on. So that's the escape that you have as a tank. You don't have any kind of mount or anything like that. So the way you get away is you just basically pop out of your siege mode. You push your Z button, which is the little mount ability, and you get this short, it's kind of just like having a sprint essentially, and it's going to jetpack you out. So the pushback plus the spider mines and the little jetpack action is pretty much enough to get you out of most situations. I've been in some pretty crazy little ganks, and unless you just completely get shut down and stunned and stuff like that, you can usually get away, and it's hard for people to actually take you out, and it's super annoying. Trust me, I played against some Sergeant Hammers that did this escape tactic well, and it's not fun. So I imagine these people are probably pissed, because I'm basically just, it's only a matter of time before I take out all their crap, you know? I'm just slowly pushing up. I've got all this AoE now that I've got Artillery Strike. I throw down Artillery Strike, you clear out their minion waves with that, and just a, you know, 1 or 2 auto attacks from the siege mode, all that splash damage at extreme range, and boom, we're ready to go here. So now we've got ourselves the golem from the Merc camp, and I'm just going to go ahead and stay out of the range of that battle cruiser and continually siege up here. And this is where Sergeant Hammer just really shines. I can just sit out here and lay down some fire for the team, and if they want to deal with me, they're going to have to run into my teammates. And so Sergeant Hammer does really great whenever you have just a little bit of teammate support kind of holding you alive, and you could just continually siege up. Like, technically, if I wanted to, if my team wanted to anyways, I can just stand there all day and just slowly whittle down their base, and I can never have to leave, because I can have, for example, like Malfurion here. Boom, there we go. Just check out a fort on my way out, on my way of escaping. I decided to siege up and take out the rest of a fort. But yes, I can have a healer next to me here and just keep me alive, and we can just slowly push up. Good times. And I'm gonna go ahead and go into siege mode. I like to go into siege mode in these bushes during these team fights here, and that allows me to just kind of be a big people don't realize how much damage you're doing. Your siege mode attacks are very, very strong. So I'm gonna go ahead and see how useful it was to have that siege mode. Oh crap! So I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna go back out. Oh my God! Jetpack for the win! Oh my goodness! But yeah, I was gonna say, see how useful it is to be able to move around while sieged, even if it's slower. I went from all the way from that bush up there, and I positioned myself next to the tribute, and then I was able to jetpack away once Tychus went for the assassination onto me. And so we are doing really well here. Best thing to do is learn how to land those artillery strikes. I've gotten so many sniped kills by shooting out those artillery shells. I don't really expect that damage to come out. It's not some insane amount of damage, but the fact that it's on such a low cooldown, it's essentially a fourth ability, not even an ultimate spell. It's just adds so much more to your list of options that you can do continuously to be a nuisance to the enemy team throughout the game. And it works really great against structures. Well, that was a mistake. I remember doing this. Okay, so I actually misclicked and walked into the enemies there. So of course I'm going to die. You'll notice here that I am pretty much at the top of the team in terms of XP generated, because I'm able to crush all of the enemy minions very quickly. I'm actually doing quite a lot of damage in team fights as well. So overall, I'm being really, really beneficial to the team right now. All of the shoving and all of the damage that's being done. So what I just took there was my level 20 talent, and essentially it just modifies my artillery strike. It gives it more range. Goodness. And it gives it a little bit more, I think it's damage. I think more range and more damage. Either that or it was more range and then a bigger size on the attack. Something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But either way, here we go. Running in, shooting down the artillery. Going to throw down some damage. Make sure that these guys know they are not welcome. And, okay, Falstad jumping out. Let's see if I can chase him down just a little bit. This looks a little bit sketchy. I don't think I want to run in there blind, so I'm going to go ahead and sneak back around to the left side and siege up on these minions. And look how fast I clear that minion wave. That is just insane. There is not really anyone else that I can think of that can consistently clear out minion waves that quickly. The only other hero that I've used that clears out minions at least fairly quickly like that is Falstad, whenever you upgrade him with all his chaining attacks and stuff like that. But it's still not nearly as good at sieging as Sergeant Hammer, which is a siege tank. So that's what you would expect, correct? And here we go. I'm going to throw down the siege mines, try to make up a perimeter here, give the enemy a little bit of punishment for trying to come in after us, throw down the artillery, and bam, he's dead. So I am not the squishiest champion in the game. You would think that I would be pretty squishy as a siege tank that can be ultimate range and just crush people with high damage, but really I'm not. I'm somewhere between a tank and a... I get it, a tank. Okay, really? I didn't even mean that pun, but I'm somewhere between a tank, a warrior, and an assassin, I would say, in terms of survivability. So here we go. We are just sieging up right outside of the enemy palace. I'm ready to finish this game off, and there's not much they can do about it if you pay attention to the setup that we have here. We got a couple minions coming in. I'm not really worried about their minions shoving me out. I'm going to keep throwing down these spider mines. I'm setting up an entire area where they just cannot chase us back out of here. We've got Tyrael with the shields. I've got Malfurion healing me up. Falstad we know does a lot of damage himself and crushes opponents. Oh, shoot! Looks like our Falstad just got crushed, actually, by the ultimate from the enemy Falstad. So I'm going to go ahead and peace out. I'm pretty much safe to run out here. Let's put down another perimeter and try and go for the tribute myself. Since the enemies were in the middle of battling it out there, I don't think they're going to be able to make it in time. I just barely got it. Heck yeah. Damn, we just crushed that chick so bad. Oh man, Kerrigan, no thank you, lady. So here we go, gonna run in here, try and do a little bit of damage to Mr. Tychus. Just showing him that I am not afraid. Give him a little bit of artillery. He's gonna have to go back into the base, but he doesn't even make it. We're actually able to clear him up. So I sometimes forget that I have my auto attack when I'm not in siege mode, but it's still pretty damn strong. You do quite a bit of damage, to be honest, especially this late into the game. I'm getting into a little bit of a bad situation. Was not able to go siege mode and run away from that one in time. I was a little bit too cocky, I believe. But either way, you can see we've got the palace down. That's the end of the game. Sergeant Hammer, very fun champion to play once you get his strategy down. Hopefully you guys can get into the game before too long. I know it's in Tech Alpha right now, so I'll keep bringing these videos to show you the characters. But for now, thanks for watching. Peace out, bros.